Not enough pixels.
We don't have enough pixels on our calculator to show it all. Yeah. So it's showing partially part of it. Yep. But if I zoomed in on a part of it, you would probably, I bet if I zoomed in even half as close, it would look almost exactly the same. Because it's trying to show you that there's a pattern back and forth. All right. So we're going to try now to draw some of these in your notebook. These are hard problems. Your homework is going to be a total of 8 problems. And I'm going to do a few right now just to try them with you. So let's start by doing y equals.
This is all homework right now.
No, this is still homework. This is examples. All right, let's do y equals -2 sine of 4x. Okay, here's what I want every single graph in your homework to look like. You're going to start with an axis that looks like this. Here's my x, here's my y. You only need to have 4 marks. Just need to know where it's going up, where it's going down. Okay. Amplitude. What's the amplitude of this?
1.
Technically, the amplitude is still considered 2 because it's the absolute value of it, but remember there's a negative there, so it's going to start below. What's the period? How do we find the period?
2 pi divided by
2 pi divided by 4, which reduces to 1 pi over 2. That means that my furthest mark over here is going to be pi over 2. It's hard to think in fractions. So I strongly suggest you kind of set up something like this on the side just so you can work on it quick, which is funny because it's just fractions, but somehow taking the pi out makes a big difference, at least to me. All right, 0 to 1/2. If 1/2 is the far point, what's the middle point? 1/4 is half of 1/2.
Yes.
1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4, right? What's half of a fourth? 1/8. So you can think about this being 0, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8 reduces to 1/2. Everybody okay with this? So over here on my actual graph, I'm going to write pi over 8, pi over 4, and 3 pi over 8. How high and how low is this graph going to go? Up to 2 and down to -2? And where should I start it?
0.
It's a sine graph, so it's going to start at 0. Will it go up first or down first? Down. So I'm just going to put some points on here. Everybody look up. I'm going to put this one, and that one, this one, that one, and this one. And then just curve it. Please don't make it mountain peaks. Try to do a little bit of curving. And draw arrows to show that it keeps going. This is what your homework's going to be like. You can always check and see if you're right on your calculator if you want to. This is all about how to manipulate cosine and sine curves, just like sound waves. Different frequencies on the radio. What's the what? Nothing none of my business? Okay. Let's try y equals cosine of 2/3 x. Everybody enjoying looking at my scar and my bruise? It's a nice one. Y equals cosine 2/3 of x. Over here, I'm going to draw myself a little thing so I can just figure out the fractions without using pi. How do I figure out the amplitude? How do I figure it out?
You look at the
Right, okay, so it's going to go up to 1, down to 1? How do I figure out the period? 2 pi divided by 2/3. How do you do a fraction divided by a fraction? 2 pi over 1 divided by 2/3 is the same thing as 2 pi over 1 times 3 over 2. The 2's cancel out, which leaves me with what? 3 pi. Okay, so my beginning is 0 and my high point is 3. What's halfway between 0 and 3? 1.5, but how do I write that as a fraction? 3 halves, so 3 over 2. This is tough. How do I split up 3 halves into 2? 0.7, well, 1.5, 0.75, right? Which would be 3/4. But let's say you couldn't do that in your head. You could just do half. This always works. Look up. You could do half of 3 halves, which is 3/4. So half of 3 halves is 3/4. All right, now I'm going to start thinking about it in fourths. This is 0/4, 3/4, 6/4 reduces to 3 halves. You guys with me? What's next? This was 6/4. 9/4, because I'm jumping by 3 every time. 3/4, 6/4, 9/4. It's whatever this distance is, you keep jumping. So 3/4, 6/4, 9/4. What comes after 9/4? 12/4, which is 3. Okay, so this one would be 3 pi over 4. This one's 3 pi over 2, and this one is 9 pi over 4. I think the tallies in this is the hardest part. Okay, where does a cosine graph start? 0 or 1? 1. Should it be 1 or -1? 1, so it's going to start here, and then go there, and then go down, up, and a high point again, like this. All right, we're going to try one more together and then I'll let you go. Y equals -3 sine pi x.
No TikTok dancing in the hallway.
No TikTok dancing in the hallways, guys. Try this one with your partner. Think about the amplitude and the period. Talk to each other now. I do want to talk about one thing really quick. When you're figuring out the period, yes, the pi's can cancel out. Okay, talk to each other.
Oh, you're just. No, it's fine. Cause it's just.
No, that's not supposed to.